Hey everyone, and welcome to my first DLC review for a game other than the games themselves. I'm your host, as ever, Purple Midnight 8. Welcome back, if you've been with me before, which sounds really sad if you haven't. Sorry, my wife is trying to talk to me, but it's not picking it up. She was trying to say that she's used to hearing joined as ever by so-and-so. But no, because it's the game reviews, she, excuse me, isn't part of them for the most part. She's been part of one, but for the most part, she's mainly just been with me on my farm together. She's mainly been with me on my movie review series. I say my, but it's mostly been me and you. I've done a couple on my own, and obviously Morgan has been with us for about 2 or 3. You will be back for a classic at some point, whenever that will be. But I've done enough old games for a while. I'm going to cover a couple more modernish ones and then go back to them. But I like to have a bit of a mix up, like a bit of a mix. So, anyway, as mentioned, this is the first DLC I'm covering, so forgive me if this one is a lot shorter than the mainline games. This is the DLC for a game I've covered already, of course, a couple of weeks ago, possibly even a month ago now. It's the Heartland DLC for State of Decay 2 that was released in 2019, I believe it was. I don't know, I haven't written it down in my fucking notes. But anyway, we'll get right into it. So, we start with the main story, which is set as a standalone story to the main game, where for a change you will pick from two pairs of characters that are the same for everyone. Whereas in the main game, of course, you pick a random set of survivors to start you out. These characters will return to Trumbull Valley, the setting of the drastically different, worse first game. And that's saying something, because this game's good. It's very enjoyable. The first game is just crap. At least I would say. I will probably review it in the future. Finding the blood plague, which is present in the main game, has completely infested the area. So yeah, we go through it without spoiling anything, in case you care. Gameplay is essentially the same as the main game, revolving around surviving in the world and upgrading the one and only base in the game. However, in the DLC, I should say, when I was doing a little bit of research, I found it's the biggest base in the entire franchise, which I didn't even realise. Because I don't play this DLC, because I don't like it very much. The DLC has a more linear narrative than the base game, providing an actual story rather than a sandbox-style game. So yeah, there's actual plot, as opposed to just like, we need help us, thank you, bye. Alongside your starting pair, you will recruit characters that aren't procedurally generated, so like actually named characters that aren't random, and usually are unlocked through side quests. These characters allow for upgrades in the base that can only be unlocked through those people. So yeah, rather than it being like recruiting everyone and hoping that you get the skill you want, these characters usually have the upgraded skills, and then that will unlock a building in your base. But there's a couple where you've got to choose between two characters that have the opposite skills, but for the same, like, building. So, like, you can have someone who's a surgeon that can make, like, medkits, or you can have someone that makes more plague cures. So you basically have to choose which one you'd want more. All zombies in this game, in the DLC, are blood plague infected. So now everyone who you attack has a chance of infecting you with the blood plague, which is great. Now including the freak zombies, because they weren't bad enough in the main game. You can now get blood plague while you're being torn in half by big fucking juggernaut. That provides a much harder challenge in keeping everyone alive and healthy. But of course, because they all drop, well, most of them drop plague samples anyway, it's not too big of a deal. But if you just get swarmed, you are fucked. Like the base game, you will have to keep your community alive and happy, collecting resources and defending your home. Getting the plague samples is much more of a necessity, as the plague will be harder to fight off without them. Heartland is much more of a challenge due to the heavy amounts of Blood Plague infected and lack of base variety, as well as survivor variety. I appreciate the switch up from a sandbox to a story, as well as providing a challenge as opposed to the rather simple main game. But for someone who really enjoys the base game for its replayability value and all that, I think it's just a bit lackluster and just frustrating with the difficulty. And I just don't play it. I just don't like the DLC. I just don't think it's great, unfortunately. But anyway, that's it. Just a little breakdown of the DLC and just a little thoughts on it as well. So yeah, it's a bit crap. But if you play the Juggernaut edition that's on Game Pass or PC or whatever, I don't really know what it's like on PC. I don't have one. Basically, you can get the DLC included with that version, so you can't complain, and it's optional anyway. So because it's standalone, you don't have to worry about it ruining your experience with the main game, which is a big relief because I just hate this DLC. But anyway, thank you for listening for the past 5 minutes or something crazy like that. I've been your host as ever, Purple Midnight. I will be back soon with something else, of course, because it never stops. Apparently. I'm just rambling now. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.